Hey Indianapolis Monthly, I'm IndyCar driver Graham Rahal and welcome to my home. The Tiger Woods caddy bib here, what this is Tiger's very first ever professional victory was in Las Vegas. And his caddy was a guy named Fluff, and I had met Fluff when I was a little kid. He caddied for Peter Jacobsen, and my dad played in a charity event with him. And so Fluff basically was Tiger's caddy when he won his first tournament and decided to give me his bib. And so he got this for me, which is pretty cool. And of course, Tiger signed something for me here, which was a totally separate event, but still it's very unique, I think, to have these together. It was actually given to us, I think my mom wanted to auction it off for a charity thing and ended up giving it to me. The trophy is cool for me because this is my first win, my St. Pete trophy. So really, it's, you know, there's a lot of trophies in here that mean a lot to me, but this is probably the most special one of my career. I was 19 when I won my first IndyCar race, so that came from there, which it's pretty unique, and which then ties into the David Letterman champagne. Because when I won my first trophy, or won my first race and got this trophy, I wasn't allowed to spray champagne because I was underage.
Right.
So they wouldn't let me do it. So Dave decided to send me some champagne. Of course, it's got a letter that's signed by him. And it became kind of an inside joke because he said, you know, you got to wait till you're 21 to enjoy this, but here it is just in case. And so the bottle's still in there. It's never been opened, surprisingly, but it's now, you know, 6 years old. So and then I went on to the Letterman show, or the Late Show, not long after the race, and he actually had a bottle of champagne on the show for me to go spray. So it was pretty cool to have all these things together, but those two kind of tie in very closely together. I've always loved pinball. When I was a little kid, my dad had one at the house, and so it was always like a lot of fun for us to play with. Well, I didn't realize they made an Indy 500 one, and there's only about 2,500 of these in the world. And you think 2,500 is a lot, but when you think of all the arcades, they normally make a run of like 30,000 pinball machines, so 2,500 is pretty rare. I found this one. I had a friend of mine restore it. He's a total pinball geek, and he made it absolutely perfect. So the cabinet decals, everything is 100% brand new. There's not a single light in this thing that doesn't work, or you know, the turbo that spins around. Everything works perfectly. So when we have parties at the house, this is a pretty popular place for everybody to go and play around with this thing. In 2011 was 100 years of the Indianapolis 500 and 100 years of Colt. And so I was sponsored by Colt that year. They made about 5 of these in the world. The National Guard actually has one for their museum. I have one, Chip Ganassi has one, Colt has one, and the Speedway has one. So they're very rare. I finished 3rd that year, so the serial number on my gun is 3 Indy 500, so that's pretty cool. And on the other side of this, everything is hand engraved. The Borg Warner trophy is on the top of the 1911, and on the back side of it is a hand engraved drawing of my car, and then the Marmon Wasp that was the first car that ever won the Indy 500. So it's very cool, and it's got a checkered flag and stuff on the back. If you think, like, this gun will never be shot. It sits in this display case. There's no even bullets in this place for it. But it's something that's so unique and so rare that it sits out here because it has quite a lot of meaning to me. So right. It's pretty cool. All the detail is,
I bet.
It's incredible. So this was a painting that I had done, and I had a similar one done from a different perspective, but Roger Warwick did these for me for Christmas one year to give to my dad. So this is my car. I finished 3rd in 2011, and this is the car my dad drove when he won Indy 500 in 1986. So I had this picture done because obviously we'll never race together at the Speedway, but it was a pretty unique thing to do. And then all the, you know, the cars that are surrounding it basically are my cars as I've driven at Indy, and I have my Midas car from last year. I've just been slow to get it framed, but this is my first year, 2nd, 3rd, and on down. So they're pretty cool to have. They are exactly what would have been on my car for Indy. So if you look at, even when we had a specialty paint scheme or something like we talked about Colt a minute ago, Colt on the car and all that sort of thing. So it is very detailed on what is there, and pretty unique and pretty cool for me to have. I'm sure I'll do it every single year from here on out. Mm-hmm. This here is something I bought at an event called Birdies for the Brave, which is a charity for wounded warriors. It's something that the PGA Tour does, and I was asked to come as one of the celebrities a couple of years ago. And I went down, and at the silent auction that night I saw this, and I had to grab it up. What it is obviously Phil added a 5th major last year at the British, but these were his 4 major wins before. I've always been a big Phil Mickelson fan. And so this is PGA Championship flag, and then his 3 Masters. And what's interesting about the Masters, a lot of people don't know, is the only people that can sign inside of the United States are Masters champions. So obviously he's got 3 of them. So it's got all 3 flags. I don't know, I'm going to have to add the British one here somewhere. But so I'm a huge Ducati nut, I always have been. And so I've collected a couple of them. I actually have another one on the way that's a collector bike. But this is one of the rarest Ducatis out there. It's what they call an MH900 Evoluzione. So it is a replica of a guy named Mike Halewood won the Isle of Man TT, which if anybody's seen the Isle of Man TT, it's absolutely crazy. It's over, the Isle of Man's over near England. And this is how his bike looked. And in the early 2000s, I believe this is a 2002, they came out with 2,000 of these, and you had to buy them online. And it was right when the whole online purchasing started to go nuts. And they all sold out worldwide in 10 minutes. So I found this bike. They're extremely hard to find no matter what, but I actually found this bike up near Chicago, Illinois, and it has 2 original miles on it. And so it's obviously not something I would ride, but it's a very cool and unique collector piece, and it's probably got the lowest miles of anyone in the country, I would think. It's hard to beat 2 original ones. So it's very unique, and something, when a lot of people see it, a lot of people come to the house, they have no clue what this is. It's so different than anything else you've ever seen.